So you're walking around at an open house trying to get a sense of how well the house fits your needs. If the kitchen is to your liking, are there enough bedrooms? Are the closets big enough? But it's important to remember that a house, which is the single biggest investment that most people will make in their lives, should more than just fit a list of requirements. The house has to be in good condition. And at least in the past couple of years, buyers have been put under a lot of pressure to close on a deal quickly. And if the buyer does not close on a deal quick enough, the house is then offered to the next person in line. And this can lead to the possibility of not seeing important red flags. To avoid unexpected repair costs, here are some common red flags that should make you think twice before making an offer on a home. Repairing a foundation can be one of the most costly repairs. Hairline cracks are usually not an issue. However, if you see any crack wider than half an inch, it is probably a good idea to have a foundation contractor take a look. A large crack is an indication of an unstable foundation. Another indication of foundational issue is by looking at the door frames throughout the house. If the doors have difficulty closing, it's possible that there are issues with the home structure. In some cases, the homeowners may have trimmed a bit off the top or bottom of the door to get it to close. So if you notice a door with a little trim off the top or the bottom, beware. It could be an indication of a bigger issue. If there's a leaky roof or window, it can rot away structural wood. A leaky roof can also be an indication of plumbing issues on the top floor. Even if the sag on the ceiling is small, it usually means a leaky roof. It could also mean structural movement. So unless you know where the leak is coming from and how much damage there is, don't make an offer. One of the most common home inspection findings include improper wiring throughout the house. While most of us are not electricians, make sure that all switches and outlets in the house function properly. Flickering lights, circuits that don't work, and warm outlets should all be viewed as a red flag for a buyer. If you are getting the home inspected, most home inspectors will check all electrical panels and test all the outlets anyway. Replacing a roof is not cheap. It can cost anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000, depending on the size of the roof and the material used. Watch out for shingles that are curling at the corners. Missing shingles, cracked shingles are all signs that the shingles may need replacement. When you're getting the house inspected, ensure that the roof gets inspected to rule out major roof issues. Also, if faulty shingles are not addressed, it can lead to structure and roof damage. Fresh paint on the wall is not as uncommon as one might think. Think about it from a seller's point of view. The best way to prepare a home on a budget is to freshly paint it. It's fairly inexpensive and it gives the room a fresh look. It is also a common recommendation by realtors. However, a good realtor will never tell you to paint a small area on the wall or just one wall to cover up prior damage. When you're looking at a home, a freshly painted small area on a wall should be a red flag. Think about it. Why would someone only paint a small part of the ceiling? It is possible that they're trying to cover up prior damage, for instance, water damage or mold. A severe pest problem should be a red flag. Many pests, such as termites, can destroy wood that can cost thousands of dollars to rectify. One indication of live termites is a small piles of tiny brown droppings on a floor near a wall. Another sign is a hollow sound when you knock on wood surfaces. It is not uncommon for homeowners to become immune to bad smell. In your search for a home, pleasant odors and bad odors could both be red flags. A bad smell is obvious, right? It could be because of the presence of mold. But what if the house smells too good and you spot air fresheners in every room, scented candles around the house, or even oil diffusers in every room? It could mean that the seller is trying to cover up a bad smell, such as pet urine on the carpets or mold beneath the sink. It may not always be the case, but definitely something to be aware of. When you're looking for a house, remember you're not only purchasing a house, but also purchasing the neighborhood. Are there other homes on the block for sale? Are businesses or homes vandalized? A neighborhood with overall poor condition is a red flag. Buying a neighborhood that is decreasing or one that has increasing crime rate could be a very costly mistake. Drive around the neighborhood a few times while you're house hunting. Standing water in the yard means poor drainage. Poor drainage is something that is not easy to detect. However, if you drive by the house that you want to buy after it rains, and if you find puddles of standing water, the yard may have drainage issues. Obviously, you cannot wait for it to rain before you make an offer, but it's something to keep in the back of your mind. Other signs of poor drainage include water stains on basement walls or cracking in the foundation. Luckily, Poor drainage is a relatively simple issue that can be fixed with some hard manual labor. As the HVAC system gets older, it becomes less and less reliable. An HVAC usually requires replacement every 10 to 20 years, and as these units get older, they become less efficient, meaning you'll end up paying more in electricity costs to run them, and they may not heat or cool the house effectively. There's also a chance that they stop working completely. And HVAC systems are not cheap. Look for signs like foul smell, buildup of moisture, strange sounds, or poor air quality. The bottom line is, always get professional inspection done on the house. Yes, I know it's costly, but it's not a good area to cut back on. Secondly, if you're aware of these red flags, you don't have to entirely rely on the home inspector. Some professional inspections do a horrible job at pointing out the not so obvious defects.